I must say how heartening it is to hear Rishi Sunak talking about the what he's called the Windsor framework. It seems very positive the way he talks about it, preserving the balance, a new way to cut through uncertainty, a new way forward. Allies, trading partners, and friends, he calls the EU, and he talks about a new chapter, cemented really by the experience of supporting the Ukraine. And he refers to the upcoming anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement in his preamble to sketching out what this Windsor framework will be. Of course, the DUP could still scupper this, and they're going to have to tooth comb this and get their lawyers onto this. But it has all the scope to be something that might work. I mean, there may be the occasional glitch, but I think in principle, this is very positive. And Ursula von der Leyen looked very positive as well. Clearly, Europe has made an effort, and so has Britain. This is if this works, this is the crowning achievement not only of Rishi Sunak but also of people like the Secretary of State Chris Heaton-Harris. Tremendous. This is something that should have been sorted out by Boris and wasn't, in exactly the same way as Boris should have sorted out a replacement for the Dublin III protocol. He should have sorted out something to replace the agreement which allowed Britain to send back those migrants who failed to make their application for asylum in the first safe country that they arrived at. That was the principle that underpinned the whole idea of the Schengen community, that people who arrived in Europe would be processed for asylum at the port where they arrived. Of course, this put unfair pressure on poorer countries like Greece and Italy and Spain. But that's something that I'm afraid Europe needs to work through, and it's not simply enough to have organisations like Frontex policing the waters. We need proper, safer routes to help people who are in distress reach countries where they can feel secure. And if we are promoting English as a business, then we must be prepared for the fact that many migrants, many asylum seekers prefer to be in a country where they can speak the language. So the three steps which Rishi Sunak promotes for the Windsor framework are, first, a smooth flow of trade in the UK, and here we see the implementation of the red and green lanes, which have been flagged up in the past, so that there will be no border in the Irish Sea. That's an extraordinary achievement. I don't think this is just words. I think this is a fact. Step two, protecting Northern Ireland as part of the Union, so that any reforms, any laws that are passed in Westminster will automatically apply in Northern Ireland without any shilly-shallying, without any messing around. Three, safeguarding the sovereignty of Northern Ireland. This is called the Stormont Break, and this is something that will still ensure that there is no solid border between the north and the south, securing cross-community consent in Stormont, fixing all the practical problems, guaranteeing stability and ensuring that real people matter, and that the union survives. The union, Rishi says, that defines our family of nations. This is all very positive language. I hope that the DUP can build on this rather than scupper it. I hope they can build on it. It may need fleshing out. It may need further development, but development rather than destruction. This is a framework for progress, and a huge achievement. I simply didn't think we'd get to this point, certainly not given the rhetoric and the headbanging of the last week. And I think it's now incumbent on people like Rees-Mogg and Boris Johnson to get behind the Prime Minister and show some loyalty. Because frankly, the world is tired of these individuals. If they want to make their name in television and on the after-dinner speaking circuit, they need to hand in their notice and get out of Parliament.